So it's time to assemble the three hull parts. For this, of course, you need the hull parts, the rear section, the middle section, and the front section. I'll put the last two aside for the moment. And you need two rods. They're 8mm rods. These are actually 8mm outside diameter, 6mm inside diameter. They are carbon rods. I bought them at a kite shop, and you can buy them in any hobby shop, but the kite shop was quite quick and cheap with their shipping, so that's where I bought it. The opening for the rods is 435mm long in the drawing, so in theory I could make the rods just as long, but I cut them 5mm short just to be sure. So they are 430mm long, 8mm diameter, and in this case 6mm inner diameter carbon. It doesn't really matter what type of rod you use. If you want to put stainless steel solid rods in, you get a really heavy boat, but it'll still be strong. Of course, since it's a race boat, carbon rods, lightweight, very stiff, are the ones to go with, I think. First thing I did, and I did that off camera, was a trial fit. I put both rods in, put all the parts together, making sure there was no gap. Indeed, 5mm short is enough to have it all fit properly. From experience, I know that when I put CA glue on the carbon and on the plastic, it's of course quite quick drying. So I can't put a lot of glue on the rod and then try to slide parts over. They usually get stuck because my CA glue is too quick in drying. So what I do, I start with the rear part, for the simple reason that the rear part is quite stable when I put it on its backside. I take the glue, which was just out of reach, but here we are. And I put a little bit of glue in the hole where the rods are going in, because the rods are going in quite stiff anyway, so they don't need really glue to stay in place. And then I push it in, and you can see on the inside, you can see that it has seated. It's in all the way. So actually you can almost see it on the back side. Same on the other side, pushed all the way through. You can see it here. And the glue may not do really a lot, but it doesn't have to, because it's clamped in anyway, and it's going to be closed in by the front section. Because the walls are so thin and the type of white PLA I used, PLA plus I should say, you can actually see the carbon rod, so you can see it has been completely seated. Next we're going to put on the middle section, and as I said, I'm not going to put glue on the rods. It's not necessary. I'm only going to do a circumference and circumference, I should say, and the inner ribs with the glue. So I'm doing that. Like this. Nice bead of glue. And make sure you get a continuous bead on the outside, because that of course will be part of the sealing of the hull. Now when the hull is done, I'm still going to put a thick lacquer on to seal any openings. But the less openings there are to seal, the better it is. So doing all ribs and all circumferences. And this is again why you shouldn't use a really quick setting glue. So the glue is on. We take the middle section, make sure that you get the this part at the top. I push the part down, and then I close it, and don't close it down in one go, or really don't close it down too hard, because then the glue will jump out and will get all over your clothes. So I'm checking everything is aligned, making sure this part's aligned, making sure the outer parts are aligned. Then I push again to make sure everything is there. Now I don't use accelerator. You could use accelerator, but then it will foam up on the outside and you have to sand that off again. I don't like that. So sections rear and middle together as one. And the same goes for the front section, except for when I'm done putting glue on all the circumference and all the ribs, I'm going to put a little bit of glue, as I did with the rear part, into the channel and into the other channel. And it's not going to be much, but just to seat the tube. So here we go. This will be slightly outside of your viewpoint, or I can do it like this. You get to see it a bit more. This is not a very interesting part. It's just me putting on glue. And as you can see, I'm left-handed, so I'm starting on the right-hand side. Otherwise, the glue will be all over me eventually, which sometimes happens anyway, but trying to avoid it. Working from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Putting this upright again, putting a little bit of glue into the channels, and then it's time to put front section out. Pushing it together again, making sure the alignment is okay everywhere. And there we have the boat as one piece. Now, officially, CA glue takes 24 hours to dry. We know it's really quick, but it has its final strength after a few hours. People sometimes say 24 hours. I don't really believe that. But still, it takes quite a little time to set. The fact that it is grippy now, the fact that it seems to be strong now, don't be fooled by that. So there's the boat. It should now be one floating device. And when we put the back on, just for show, you see it's looking a lot like a boat.